Hello, hashtag listen family. It's Callie Hendricks back with another episode of The Theatre. Today with me, I have the beautiful Crystal Joseph. Crystal, welcome to hashtag listen.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
for having me.
Yes, no, it's absolutely an honor to have you with us today. Why don't you start us off by just giving us a brief background of who you are? How did you come to be the person you are today?
Okay. Yeah, Crystal Joseph is my name. My maiden name is Mokali. I was Crystal Mokali. So this, or what you see in front of you today, is really just, I guess, a story of grace.
Yeah.
Since I was born, grew up in a very strong Christian family. My parents both in full-time ministry.
Sure.
So that was my life. As we grew older, we evangelized with them in 10 campaigns. We had our own church and all of that. So all of that exposed me to the love for music, gospel music specifically. Obviously, as I grew up, I had dreams. I wanted to pursue a few things, but church kept me in Kimberley, kept me home.
Yeah.
So when I finished school, that was the thing I did. I was in church and started working in that time. And then later in life, I did formal studies and all of that. But in that time, I met my then boyfriend, now husband, got married in 2011.
Sure.
And yeah, I carried on doing what I love.
Yeah.
It's worship, it's music,
Yeah.
it's singing, it's ministry. That's my life. So I kept on doing that. Even in my marriage, I had kids and all of that, but even in my marriage, I was able to at least still live out this dream.
Yeah.
And till one day when we decided to have all of it recorded.
Sure.
And I think then a lot of people became aware of Crystal Joseph.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is how I got here.
Yeah. And you wear many hats. You've mentioned them. You are an artist, you're a singer, you're a pastor, you're a wife, a mom. How do you balance all of these roles?
I have no idea.
Balance
I honestly do. I don't know.
Sure.
I honestly don't know. I think you wake up in the morning, you know, this is a conscious decision that I made. This is who I want to be. This is what I want in life. I chose to be married. I chose to have kids. I chose to follow God. And I chose ministry. I chose all these things in my life.
Yeah.
And even when I had a full-time job, which was for 15 years,
sure.
It's something I chose. So you know that, listen, you can't let anyone down.
Yeah.
You have to make this work. You have to you have to strike a balance somehow. And like I said, I honestly don't know how I do it.
Yeah.
But I've managed to do it. I've incorporated all parts of my life into who I am.
Yeah.
So work ends at a certain time. Family has to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Family has to come with me to go to church,
Sure.
or rehearsals, or whatever it is,
Yes.
and tomorrow's school.
Sure.
You know, so I don't know. I guess over the years, I just found my groove, and I don't know. It's the
You
grace
manage
of God.
it,
You just have to do it.
Yes,
it gets done.
100%.
It gets done.
Sure. Let's chat a bit about you as a widely recognized artist. Can you share a highlight or memory that from your career as an artist that has stayed with you?
Okay, I would have to say it was definitely the day when I had my first album recording, which was on the 5th of October 2019.
Sure.
It's memorable for me because it was on my birthday, and I did not know that things would escalate the way it did.
Sure.
For me, it was, okay, let's do this show. My husband actually and my brother, oldest brother, they were insisting on this. Let's do the show. And I said, okay, guys, let's do it. because we've been singing for years and all of that.
Yeah.
So let's go and put this on a stage, have it recorded. I always said it's the one thing that I want to do in life, just one album recording, and then I'll be okay. And then, yeah, we did it. The 4th of October. Why I'm saying it's the most memorable is because it's in no way did I think that it was the start of a whole new season in my life. For me, it was just getting on that stage, pouring out my heart,
Sure.
pouring out what God has deposited in my spirit, the songs that He gave me, the songs that I wrote, the songs that other friends wrote for me, that we arranged, composed, and did on stage. I honestly did not know that
Yeah.
it would become
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
For me, it was just a recording. So it's one of the most memorable moments for me. On that day, I got to have my entire family with me on stage also, because like I said, we are a very strong Christian-based religious family, but we're also a very musical family. So
sure.
my mother, my father, like plays the accordion and
Sure.
guitars and all of that. My brothers are musicians themselves.
Sure.
They sing. So on that day, I had the opportunity of having my whole family on stage also, and I'll never forget it because it was if not, I think the first time that we actually got to record something that went viral.
Sure.
And it was also the last that I had the opportunity to be on a stage with my mother because 2 years
Sure.
later she passed away.
Sure.
So it's definitely a day or a moment in my life
Yeah,
I'll never
yeah.
forget.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's something that you cherish and hold
Forever,
close.
yes.
Sure. No, that's beautiful. Tell me, how does your role as pastor and as an artist influence or complement one another?
Very well, because I do gospel music.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think it complements the fact that, or the pastoral ministry. It complements that because I don't have to pretend to be something else or someone else.
Sure.
It's just easy for
Yeah.
me. Because whatever is inside of me, whatever it is that I pursue during my time with God, and having to live up to the standards of being a pastor,
Sure.
the lifestyle, and just the requirements of holiness definitely spills over into my music. So it's honestly, it actually complements each other.
Sure.
It's not
Yeah.
difficult for me.
Yeah, it's not
Comes
something.
easy.
Yeah, it comes
it's
easy.
what I do.
Yes. Let's talk about Pinkster on Heels. It's a massive concert. What inspired you to start, or how did the creation of it come about?
Pinkster on Heels. Okay. Yeah. So in 2019, as I explained, when we were planning to have this show,
Yeah.
we said, okay, it's going to be Northern Cape Theatre, and so on. Me personally, I have a love for hymns.
Yeah.
I'm an old soul. yeah.
Sure.
Like I have a love for hymns. But more specifically, I also have a very deep love for what we would call Pentecost, Pinkster. yeah. A lot of people, I would say, misplace it and would say Pinkster is Afrikaans, or Pinkster is what we would call dreiging.
Yes. Yes.
Pinkster is die dreiging, né?
Ja.
Pinkster vir my, iets wat ek wou doen by die recording was om vir die mense te wys of die mense te laat verstaan dat Pinkster gaan oor die manifestation van die Heilige Gees,
Ja.
according to Acts. Dit was letterlik vir my die uitgangspunt. So with Pinkster on Heels, when we were planning all of this, it didn't have a title. One day we were just talking. It was myself, my husband, and my brother, and as we were planning, and then he said to me, "You know, you love heels because I've always loved heels. You love heels, and you're one of the few people that can actually like dreig on them.
Ja.
Jy dreig op baie hakke vir ure en jy raak jy moeg nie." And it is true. I do love doing whatever
Yeah.
on heels. And then he said to me, hoekom noem jy die show se naam Pinkster on Heels nie? And immediately when he said
Sure.
it stuck with me.
Yeah.
I said, ja, daai klink nice, Pinkster on heels.
Ja.
So vir baie mense is dit hulle dink dit is
Die
juig op hakke. Dit is nie die juig op hakke nie.
Sure.
It was a catchy phrase for me. When I heard it, I loved it. It caught my attention because I felt like, okay, it appeals to the now generation,
Yeah.
but people that are more spiritual, whatever, will maybe see a deeper meaning in
Yeah.
it. So every time when I get this opportunity, I get
Sure.
to actually explain that
Yeah.
Pinkster on heels is not about jugging on heels.
Yeah.
I do love the heels, yes. So it speaks of me, but it is literally an elevation that you experience in the spirit.
Sure.
Whenever you do what you do to
Yeah.
worship your God.
Sure.
For me, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Pinkster on heels, the heels symbolize the elevation,
Sure.
symbolize that you're not on the normal atmospheric level. You're in a different sphere, not
Yeah,
even in the
yeah.
stratosphere.
Sure.
You're in another sphere,
Sure.
and that's how you reach the heavenlies, how you
Yeah.
you get to God. So it's about the level, let me say the level at which you elevate your worship and praise to connect to the heart of God.
Yeah.
That is Pinkster on heels.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or in English, you'd say it's Pentecost,
Pentecost
on
on heels.
Sure, experiencing
So
the
it's
outpouring
figurative
of
and it's
literal.
yeah, it's literal.
Sure, no, that's beautiful.
you, ma'am.
Experiencing the outpouring of God in your heels, you know,
Yes.
and that the way that you address your high heels doesn't have to stop you from experiencing
Definitely,
it, but it's
yes.
also about going to
Yeah.
a deeper level, a higher level.
Yes.
Sure, that's beautiful. What are some of the challenges that you have faced in organizing this large scale event, and how have you overcome them?
It was huge.
Sure.
It was challenging, obviously, financially.
Yeah.
You never, at first, or in the beginning phases of getting the idea out there, you never ever anticipate the huge financial cost that actually goes into
sure.
such a production.
Yeah.
Because for me, because I felt that it was going to be a once-off thing, I wanted everything to be perfect. So I'm a perfectionist like that, and for me, detail is important.
Sure.
So to the last detail, like everything must be on point.
Yeah.
So I must say one of the hugest challenges for me was definitely the financial aspect of it, because there was no financial backing. Everything was self-funded.
Sure.
So it literally came from our salaries. It literally came from money that we had to borrow here and borrow there, lend here, lend there,
Sure.
to make this event possible, pay
Yeah.
it back later.
Yeah.
So it was self-funded. It came out of our expenses every month. Every month when I got paid, when my husband got paid, we took that money, we poured it into the project. Other people also that was part of the project, my parents, my family, literally, they said, okay,
Sure.
we covering this, we covering that.
Sure.
So I would say one of the biggest challenges definitely was the financial part of it. All the other things it was tough, yes, getting the music arrangements and compositions perfectly and all of that, the months that it took to rehearse, and it was that challenge, or that the pressure of getting out of work. There's the kids, but also we have rehearsals at my house every day for like 3 hours. It was tough. It was tough, but it was so worth it.
Sure.
I would say that. I would say everything else. I think I could. It was okay.
Yeah.
Everything was okay. Everything was manageable. Because I had good people working with me on this initiative. But the finances, biggest challenge.
Sure.
Self-funded.
Yeah.
No external funding.
Sure.
But yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
God made it happen.
Yeah. And are there plans to continue? How do you ensure that the concert continues to grow and evolve while staying true to the mission?
We did have a second recording.
Yeah.
Which I call Pinkster on Heels Volume 2.
Sure.
Which like I said, I did not anticipate
Yes.
at all.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have the one and be done.
Yeah.
But then we had volume 2 in 2023, in last year. So we we launched it this year in September, the 1st of September. And so we're getting that music out at the moment. We was getting that volume out. CDs and DVDs have been sold and so on. We in the process of getting it out digitally and all of that. So the maintenance part of it, I always tell people I will not promise another volume.
Sure.
It's not something I will do.
Yeah.
I will not say that definitely we're going to have, you'll see something, we're doing another volume. It will have to be something that God must speak to me about. Just as it did with volume 2. It was not in my plans at all. But then things happened, like I mentioned earlier, my mother passed away. And it was just a very tough time, obviously. For me specifically, I mourned.
Sure.
I mourned so much. I mourned for a very long time, and to a point where I went into depression.
Sure.
And God literally, I don't know, in that time, the way God pursued me, because I was angry, you know.
Sure.
I was angry. I had questions, because this is a woman that was in full-time ministry, gave her life up for God. How could this happen? Because she passed away of cancer. So I felt like it was unfair, man. I felt like, you know, that's how we are as humans.
Yeah.
Guess we question,
Definitely,
you know, we have our
sure.
questions. I felt like it was unfair. She didn't deserve it. But the way God matured me, matured my thinking, gave me perspective since her passing. And the way He pursued me, like I said, the way His grace pursued me, the more I tried to withdraw from Him, the more He just grew closer. I don't know. I could just feel Him literally drawing me out of things every time, pulling me out of things every time. And whenever I'm in the presence of God, I just feel Him so strong. So this grace, this God, He pursued me. And because of that, I decided to do a volume 2. That was literally my testimony from where God brought me from, out of the mourning, the grieving. So here we are. So if I am to do something again, it would have to be something that God must reveal to me. But the maintenance part of it, we do as we get invited to other cities or shows or whatever. We're visible there, we minister there. I personally do have plans to take this vision further, maybe not in the form of having the Pinkster on Heels recordings every year or every second year, but definitely ensuring that the vision stays alive.
I wanna go back to what you said while you were in that place of mourning. You know, that dark place in your relationship with God, because I feel that it's something that as Christians we go through that, where something happens and we start questioning God. You know, we maybe even leave a church, or we stop praying, or we stop reading our word. What advice would you have to a Christian going through that or being stuck in that dark place at the moment?
I would honestly say, I feel like the thing that helped me, let me start by saying this. At first, I did seek help. I went for therapy. I did all of that. I tried psychologists, and it was good because I got to talk. But I felt like every time I was just repeating myself, and I didn't feel better after those sessions. But I think the starting to talk helped. And then for me, since my mother passed, so let me say she passed the 1 week now I'm the worship leader at our church, the worship pastor. So a week or two after that, I'm back in church. I have to now lead the worship and praise. Now I'm still in mourning, you know, I'm emotional, I'm angry, I'm all those things I mentioned to you. But I have to go and do what God has called me to do. And if there's anything that I would like to say to a Christian going through something similar, it might not be the loss of a loved one, but while you're depressed, while you're in a bad space, just don't connect from God. Even if you just go to church on a Sunday, and sit in the atmosphere. Even if you go to a prayer meeting during the week and just sit in the atmosphere, that's what I did.
Sure.
I went to prayer meetings. I didn't pray. I couldn't pray. I just sat there.
Sure.
I literally just sat there. People were praying around me. I just sat there. Most of the times I was crying, but I just sat there and they were singing. Sometimes I wouldn't even sing along. I just sat there.
Sure.
But I promise you, it's what healed me.
Sure.
On a Sunday morning, I went to church and I'm angry. I have all these feelings regarding God, you know, and all of that.
Yeah.
And then I promised myself that today I'm not going to say anything in church. I'm just going to sing. But then I find myself uttering words that I did not plan.
Sure.
Speaking about God, speaking about how good He is, speaking about how loving He is, how gracious He is. And I feel like the Spirit inside of me, connecting with the Holy Spirit, is literally the portal that healed me.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it on my own. Because then one day, I just realized, oh my word, this heavy feeling is gone.
Sure.
I kept going to church every Sunday and still leading worship and praise as if nothing was wrong.
Going on. Sure.
So I would say, just don't connect.
Yeah, that's powerful. I think the one thing that we tend to do is isolate ourselves when going through a dark time, and that's exactly where the enemy wants us, in isolation, so that he can get a hold of us. So it's absolutely powerful. But back to your life as a mom and a wife and business owner and worship leader, pastor, do you have specific systems in place or habits that help you to manage all of your responsibilities?
I don't know. I guess I wouldn't say habits. Okay, maybe it is a habit, I don't know. But I mentioned to you earlier, I'm a perfectionist. So I'm a very organized person. Like I plan my day, I plan my week. I need to know 2 weeks in advance that I'm going to be there on that date. Because I plan my whole day around all of that. I plan my week around all of that. I literally have to plan. If I can't pick the kids up, who's going to pick the kids up? Okay, so my husband must pick the kids up. So I need to, whatever date I set or whatever appointment I set is centered around, are the kids taken care of? Is husband available to pick the kids up, or make an alternative arrangement? Are they, will they be taken care of, or are they coming with me? Are they allowed to come with me? All of those things is literally part of how I think, how I get things done. Because I'm such an organizer. I organize every little detail of every day.
It's important. You need to prepare. You need to plan.
And if things don't work out that way, it makes me crazy. My husband says to me, I'm OCD. I'm like, well, boy, I'll better be OCD.
This is what is working for me.
It has been working for me all my life. It's fine. But that's the organizing part of me. I think that helps me. I get things done.
Yes, 100%. And how do you prioritize your personal well-being amidst all of the organizing that needs to happen?
Is that even something that one gets to do?
It needs to be. It needs to be. In order for you to continue pouring out,
that is tough. I have to be honest. I find so little time, too little time for myself. Because my life, as I explained to you, it's centered around all these responsibilities and things that I just have to do. It's not something that I can just wake up one morning and decide, I'm not doing this today. It's my life. It's who I am. So I do sometimes, or I used to, once a quarter, let's say, go away for a weekend on my own. To a very quiet place, and then I would just rest or cry or eat or binge on series, whatever, for a whole weekend. I drive myself there and I drive back. I used to do that. And I must say that especially in the past couple of years, has kept me, because I was able to just get away from the noise, get away from the everyday up and down, all those challenges, being a mother, being
Yeah.
a wife,
Yeah.
being a boss, and all of that. I just sometimes have to get away from
Yeah.
it, take
Yeah.
a breather, get perspective, and come back, being refreshed, being able to carry on again.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, during the week, what I do now, I do take personal days for myself where
Sure.
when the kids go out in the morning to school, my daughter's off, my phone is off. For that whole day, I am unavailable.
Sure.
I don't speak to anyone. People will try to contact me. I'll see them like the next day.
Sure.
That's what something I
Yeah.
prioritize
Yes.
every week, one day in every week, and it's keeping me sane, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a day where you can pour into
I have
yourself.
to. Yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
No, that's very important. What message or values do you aim to communicate through your work?
What work exactly?
Like as an artist,
As an
as
artist.
a leader?
Okay. I don't know. I guess it's just, I just want people to always see and feel and
Yeah.
know this big God that
Sure.
we serve.
Yeah.
Whether it's someone who has been serving Him for years, I want to remind you every time how good and how great this God is.
Sure.
I want to, for someone who's not saved or someone who doesn't believe in God, I want you to feel God, man. Whenever I sing, whenever I open my mouth, whenever I say a few words, or whenever I just enter a room and we engage
Yeah. Yeah.
in conversations. I want you to feel Him. I want you to experience God. Um, I want you to know Him. And I know for me, music is the one thing that speaks to me. I know there's a lot of people that are like me, who listen to music and then it makes them feel a certain way, it cheers them up or takes them out of a dark place.
Yeah.
So for me, I just want to remind people, if I can, every day, how good this God is. When I look at my own life, I'm a testament of how good and how great this God is. So I guess I just want people to see that.
Yeah.
I just want people to experience that and feel that,
Yeah.
sense that through my music or just me being in a church worshiping. I just want them to feel that.
Yeah.
That's really that for me.
Sure.
And for life to be saved, if I can.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Sure. What does your future plans look like? We spoke a little bit about the Pinkster on Heels, but what goals do you have for your career and your other ventures?
Okay, so I'm very passionate about, like I said, music. I feel like there are so many disadvantaged, underprivileged, unheard artists
Sure.
that needs to just get a platform, or that just needs someone who believes in them,
Yeah.
or just someone that can say, let me give you a little push.
Sure.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
For the future, that's something I'm working towards. Being able to help artists record their music, whether it be a live show recording, whether it be a studio recording. I want to be able to help artists do that. Well-known artists, undiscovered artists, unknown artists, whatever. It's something I'm aiming
Yeah.
towards. It's providing that assistance to artists who need help. Even if it's just that, because many people know they can sing, they have the gift, but getting that music out there can be a challenge. So I wanna do that. I
Yeah.
wanna fill that gap.
Sure.
I wanna help
Sure.
artists in that way. I
Yeah.
want to also create an environment. It's something I'm working towards to get, if you can call it, facilities for artists, for people in arts, in music, to have a center, to have a place where they can go and showcase
Yeah. Yeah.
showcase their talents,
talents,
showcase their music, have worship evenings, praise
Sure.
evenings, just a place where you come and you can take a breath, you can just take a breath, relax, and do what God called you to do.
Sure. Yeah.
So that I don't want to go too
Yeah.
into much of the details.
Sure.
But that's what I'm aiming towards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also creating a platform for artists by having an annual celebration, if I can call it that, under the fundle of Pinkster on Heels, but not a recording, nothing to do with
Yes.
crystal.
Sure.
Something that where artists can come and just sing for God.
Sure.
Just it must be something that must happen once a year.
Sure.
Yeah.
100%
Until
sure.
God advises otherwise.
Yeah, no, we're definitely. Are there any upcoming projects or events that you are excited to share with us?
At the moment, like I said, it's just getting the current music out
Yeah.
digitally. And then also, we are looking at launching a clothing brand.
Sure.
We have
Sure.
started
Yeah,
on a
yeah,
very
yeah.
small scale
Sure.
with a Pinkster on Heels apparel. So it's clothing, easy clothing that we can wear every day. Like this t-shirt is one of them.
Sure.
Easy stuff you can wear every day, accessories, bags, caps, hats,
Yeah.
whatever, tote bags, all those things. So, but we're looking into extending that in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
And like I said, also, the furthering of the music in the form of a studio.
Yes.
So it's
Sure.
it's all future
Plans,
plans,
yes.
that definitely will be happening soon. And then we are considering doing a bit of a tour sometime in next year, with all the music that we have to date. Nothing is confirmed yet, but it's something that we're still praying about.
Yeah.
So we'll be going around South Africa, and as far as God makes it possible for us
Sure.
to go Namibia. There have been people that have expressed interest, so it's something that is still it's in the planning phase,
phases,
because it's
sure.
a lot to consider.
Yes, yes.
It's a whole team of people, like a
Yeah,
full
it's
live band.
logistically,
It's a live
sure.
band. It's vocals. It's a team of people
Yeah.
that needs to be accommodated in this city, in that city, and all of that. So it's stuff we're planning in the new year, and we'll see how it goes.
No, it sounds exciting.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be on the lookout for when it happens, and also to share with our audience. What advice would you give to women who are striving to balance their passions, their careers, as well as their family lives?
I think I would say build a solid relationship with God.
Sure.
Mense sal dink dit is insignificant. Mense sal dink dit is nie nodig nie.
Ja.
Maar het God met jou elke dag se lewe te doen. God het alles met jou elke dag se lewe te doen, hè.
Definitely.
Anders gaan mense van jou kop af gaan, hè.
Sure. Yeah.
Make God part of your life. I have this I get these experiences where I literally feel the Holy Spirit leading me to do this, to do that. Or to say no to this, or to say no to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I get these strong convictions, or stuff that I would not be able to do on my own. It cannot be out of my own understanding that I would know all these things.
Yeah.
Sometimes God would just literally give me a warning in the form of a dream, or a scripture, or whatever. Something that you would think is insignificant during the day, but you'll see signs and you'll feel it. This is God telling me, warning me, or encouraging me, do this, try this, do that.
Yeah.
And that for me is the leading factor. It's the thing that I think helps me to balance everything. Because whenever I get an invitation for anything, whether it be just an interview, or just a photo shoot, or a show somewhere, I get this feeling inside that says yes or no. And when I say yes, then my yes is my yes, and I go. And things work out. God makes it all come together.
Yeah.
But when I say no, and then I get to see later
Why you had to say
I
no?
had to say no, because
Sure.
then things happen
Yeah.
around that time
Yeah.
that I see, oh, it would have been impossible for me to be there and there and there. So I would say to a woman similar to me, trying to balance it all, you need God in your life. You need that guidance. You need that spirit of discernment that you can only get from having a relationship with God, having a relationship with the Holy Spirit, and it will lead you. It will guide you every day.
Sure.
I don't know if I answered your
Yeah,
question.
no,
Did I?
definitely,
Okay.
definitely, definitely. How can our listeners get connect with you and support your work?
Facebook, you'll find me on Facebook, Crystal Joseph's personal profile. But then I also have a page on Facebook called Pinkster on Heels.
Sure.
It's literally just the words, Pinkster on Heels.
Yes.
You'll find all the music there, like everything that's happening is there.
Sure.
And then I have a YouTube channel. It's called Crystal Joseph's. Search it up. You'll find whatever you're looking for on there as well. Also on TikTok, on my personal handle, Crystal Josephs. There's also a bit of this and that, what I do and so on. And then on Facebook, there's contact numbers. So if you just dial one of those numbers or WhatsApp,
Sure.
or click on the WhatsApp icon, it takes you directly to our Pinkster on Heels line. And then also very soon we'll be launching the Pinkster on Heels website.
Sure.
So then everything that anyone wants to know will also be available on the website. It will be called pinksteronheels.com. But we'll still announce that.
Yes, sure.
soon,
Thank you very much for that. To close off our interview, what is one key message you'd like to leave our audience with about pursuing their dreams and staying grounded in their faith?
I would say, please do not give up.
Sure.
Never ever give up, and never ever let anyone define you. Never let the world define you. Just never ever allow anyone to make you feel like you less than what God created you to be. I'm saying this because I am not a middle-aged woman. I'm a young woman.
Yes.
Young woman born with scoliosis.
Sure.
So I had a very tough childhood, growing up. Obviously, with my personal insecurities. I don't look the way she looks. I want to look like that, but I don't look that way. So, kids can be mean sometimes. So they were bullies and they were this and that. But I don't know, by the grace of God and the strong foundation that my parents laid for me, I was able to navigate through those years in my life. Even growing up, when I was young, in my young adulthood stage, I would say, then you start to wonder, okay, so will anyone be interested in me? Will I ever get married one day?
Sure.
But then, I don't know, things just happened, there was interest.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, I got married, and then I'm married, and then the doctors say you'll never be able to conceive. And then 2 kids later, here I am.
Sure.
Now, all these things I feel were meant to make me feel different about myself, or for me to give up. It was probably meant, I don't know, for me to just give up on life or the ideal of being something in life. But I was able to navigate through it. I never gave up on myself. I never ever thought differently of myself. In fact, I now more than ever feel like this is my superpower.
Sure.
The way I look, it's my superpower. So I want to say to whoever's listening to this, please don't ever give up.
Sure.
Don't forget that this God that created you is so perfect. So the way He created you, you perfect because He's perfect.
Sure.
Because when He looks at me, He sees Himself. So I am literally the mirror image of what God created. I am the mirror image of what God wants to present to this world. So just don't let anyone or let any circumstances or let life define who you are.
Yeah.
You should know who you are.
Yeah.
You are what your God says you are.
Sure.
And be consistent. If you have decided to pursue a dream or pursue a passion in life, be consistent, do it. Don't give
Yeah.
up, don't stop. It doesn't matter who says it's not a good idea, it doesn't matter who says you're not good enough. You need to believe that you're good enough. I have these talks with myself all the time because a lot of people are very good singers, like excellent singers. A lot of people sing way better than me, but I don't let that intimidate me.
Sure.
I'm different.
Yeah.
I believe that God gave each of us our own unique gift, our own unique purpose, and I need to do what I need to do.
Sure.
I cannot do what you are doing.
Yeah.
So you've got this beautiful voice and all of that.
Sure.
But this is the voice I have, and I have to
Yeah.
use what God gave me
Yes. Yes.
and make the best of what He gave me. So it doesn't matter who says you don't sound good. Because people will say that. People have said that to me. Oh, girl, you don't sound good.
Sure.
You sound off. You sound,
Yeah.
your vocals are scratchy. Your vocals are but rusty. I don't care. When I take that mic, I sing to my God as if my vocals are perfect.
Sure.
Because I have decided, I've taken a decision not to ever give up. This is who I am, and this is the strong foundation that has been built or set for me. So I don't give up, and I try to stay consistent. I try to uphold the standard that I set for myself,
Sure.
and I know that I can't deviate from it. So it keeps me accountable. I can't, I can't move away from it.
that. Sure.
Because I have this level of accountability to myself. I need to prove to myself that I can do this. I'm
Yes,
doing this,
yes.
and then I have to be accountable to God. So I just can't give up. You can't give up. Like
Sure.
you can't stop. It's not an option. You need to keep pushing, despite what the world says to you,
Yeah.
despite what the church sometimes says to you. Church can make you feel like, listen, I'm not doing this, I'm done.
Sure.
Despite what church says, despite what the world says, you need to do you and God.
Yeah. Sure. 100%. Thank you so much for that powerful message.
Thank you so
It is indeed a very high note for us to end on. So thank you for joining me on #Listen. It's been a pleasure having you. And that brings us to the end of another episode of The Theatre. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and share this video, subscribe to us on YouTube, and like our page on Facebook. And yes, until next time, The Theatre is signing out.